Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Uh, my name is Nabil Amri Muhammad Rizwan. Matric number 22120111, and we are from Group 2. I'm going to present about our project report, which is influence of location on student education quality. So our group consists of these members, which are Nabil, which is me, Akil Aiman, Lukman Hakim, Ima Akil, Benjamin Ifan. So a brief introduction about our project. Education is an important thing in our lives. That is the main thing. That's why we choose this topic to do a research on. So, in a brief introduction, our research concludes a study about the influence of location and quality of education, and it is conveyed through a survey, which is we distribute Google Form to the students, which are our friends also. And our main interest in this research is to see whether location give a major impact on students' education quality, and if it is, we can propose an improvement to the affected locations and give students more access for education, so that we can follow the SDG, which is equal education for all. So moving on to problem statement. So our project, we decided to do a project because this problem, which is we see that location have influence on student education quality, and it is a major factor that significantly impacts the educational and performance of students. We want to focus specifically on the rural-urban divide in educational settings to explore how geographic disparities affect the quality of education. So, as we know, the gap between rural and urban educational environments is huge. That it is in many sectors, which is infrastructure, access to resource, and socio-economic conditions. So these factors can leave an impact, and it is a big impact on students' learning, performance, and overall educational quality, and hence making the education quality low and lower. So to do a research, we must have objectives. So for our project, we have four objectives that we are based on, which are first to assess the correlation between students' feeling about their studying performance and their actual performance. So we need to see whether these two are correlated or not. And next, to examine the relation between the choice of transportation for going to their educational institutes and the overall education quality experienced by students. So we ask the students what is the mode of transportation they take, and we assess their overall education quality. So the third one is to analyze variations in the availability of educational resources across diverse locations. So we need to see what's the difference between rural, urban, and suburban area in terms of educational resources. And lastly, to identify challenges the students face that affect their education quality in their locations. So this is an open-ended question, and we ask the student what is the challenges they face, and we get the response that we want. So to fulfill our objectives, we come up with some questions, which are the questions that we put in the survey. So first of all, how do students' feelings about their current study performance align with their academic performance, and is this influenced by the geographical location of their educational institution? So we assess the students' feeling to see whether they are satisfied or not with their current performance and about their location. Next, how does the choice of transportation for commuting to educational institutions contribute to variations in the overall educational environment experienced by students in different locations? So we also assess what's the mode of the transportation the student use and see their performance in studying. Third, to what extent do socioeconomic factors influence the accessibility and availability of educational resources such as books, technology, and laboratories in diverse locations? So this to see how the difference uh, between the suburban, urban, and rural areas in terms of educational resources. And lastly, how the students are supported uh, by the local community and what challenges they face while studying to know deeper about the challenges the students face. So our hypothesis to from the questions we come up with this hypothesis, which is first, students' feelings about their current study performance are significantly correlated with their academic performance, and this correlation may also be influenced by the geographical location of the educational institution. Next, the choice of transportation for commuting to educational institute can contribute to variations in the overall educational environment experienced by students significantly. Third, socioeconomic factors influence the accessibility and availability of educational resources, leading to variations in the availability of resources across different locations. And lastly, students who feel supported by their local community tend to perform better and in education, and students who face more challenges in their location get a poor quality of education. So this is just a hypothesis, and we need to make sure that we the hypothesis is correct or not based on the survey that we put.
Hello everyone, today I'll walk you through our methodological approach in exploring the relation between location and educational quality. We conducted a comprehensive survey focusing on academic achievement, transportation choice, and socio-economic characteristics in both rural and urban settings. Using user-friendly tools like Google Form, we collected response from 110 individuals with diverse educational background in a brief 2-week period, ensuring a solid dataset. Our research zoomed in on a key differentiation, the location of educational institution. We explored various factors including CGPA-based academic accomplishment, study performance rating, preferred transportation mode, resource accessibility, and their opinion on campus existence during degree pursuits. To interpret our finding, we employed statistical methods such as variance, standard deviation, median, and mode calculation, identifying significant patterns and variation in the dataset.
Hello, Assalamualaikum. So today I'll be presenting about the preliminary analysis. So the first one is the gender distribution on the influence location on quality education. And then so the in the initial stages of my study in the influence of location, so I found that the majority 55.5% are males and also 44.5% are females. So this balanced representation sets the stage for a nuanced examination on how location related factors may intersect with gender dynamics and potentially impact education quality. So we move on to the next one. So area that respondents currently live in, we have three types, which is the rural, suburban, and also urban. So among the respondents, we have 32 people residing in rural areas and 40 people in suburban locales, um, and 38 in urban settings. So this distribution also provides a geographic foundation to explore the influence of location on education quality, whether it has any impact. Let's say if you live in rural areas, will it impact your education quality? So move on to the next one. The mode of transportation that the students use to attend classes. In this case, it's the respondents. So among the respondents, the transportation preferences vary with 22 people opting for cars, 36 people opting for bus, um, 8 favoring walking, 26 using bicycle, and 23 relying on motorcycles. So this distribution underscores the complexity of commuting patterns within the study's demographic. So investigating these preferences provides valuable insights into how transportation choices will influence or will impact the location, the influence of location on education quality. So we move on to the next one, which is the level of student performance in study. So if you can see here, we have three level, which is the great, average, and not so good. So later on, Brother Lokman will present about the CGPA distribution, but then now it's just the general distribution, which is the student performance in study. So if we examine the respondents' level of performance, a majority of 68 character people characterize their experience as average, while 12 others express dissatisfaction, categorizing it as not so good. And then additionally, 30 other respondents describe their achievements as great. So contrasting with it who feel not so proud lah. I'm sorry, the not so proud part is not being calculated in this presentation. Okay, so analyzing these perceptions adds complexity to understanding how individuals evaluate their academic performance within the context of location based influences on education quality. So we move on to Brother Lokman's presentation. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Luqman Hakim bin Muhammad Sukri. My metric number is 2225423, and now I will continue the presentation on preliminary analysis. Okay, the aspect that we want to see is socioeconomic factors. There are three socioeconomic status from this factor, which is low, moderate, and high. So for the low, the range is from 1,000 until 3,000 per month, and the moderate is from 3,000 to 8,000 per month, and then for high status, the range is above 8,000 per month. From this graph, we can see that 68 respondents fall into the moderate, 23 respondents fall into high, and 19 fall into the low income. It shows us that this economic diversity within the study population highlight on potential socioeconomics, so that can influence on education quality. So the individual can explore the variety of income level that can lead to navigate educational experience. Okay, we we can move to the next slide. This is the analysis of students' location that affect current CGPA. At the left, we can see the frequency graph of students' CGPA. The result is no one get pointer from 1.00 until 1.49, from 1.5 until 2. There is 13 respondents who get the pointer, and then from 2.101 until 2.49, there are 5 respondents. From 2.5 until 3, there are 57 students. From 3.1 until 3.49, there are 8 students. And then from pointer 3.5 until 4 flat, there are 27 students. So at the right, I have created the frequency table that consists of class limit, frequency, midpoint, frequency times midpoint, midpoint square, and frequency times midpoint square. Okay, next one we move to the calculation part. So there are a few central tendency that we have to calculate, which is mean, median, mode, variance, and standard deviation. So we will go one by one. The first one is mean. So what we have to do is we have to use the formula given and then plug in the value, and we will get the answer, which is 2.89. And then we move to the next one is median. Also use the same method, which is plug in the values into the formula given, and then we will get the answer is 2.81. And then the mode, we use the formula given, and then the answer will get 2.82. Okay, and then for the variance, we use the formula and then plug in value. So we will get the answer is which is 0.377. And then the last one for standard deviation, also plug in the values into the formula and then we will get 0.164. Sorry. The answer is 0.614. Okay, now we proceed to the most important part in preliminary analysis, which is Chebyshev theorem. So we have applied the Chebyshev theorem in our report. Okay, through our calculation, we found that the mean of this data is 2.89 with a standard deviation of 0.614. So at least 75% of the data will be fall into 4.12 and 1.57. Hence, the mean fall within two standard deviation from 2.81 until 2.89. That's all for my part. So I will pass to the next presenter.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Akil Aiman bin Rafi and my metric number is 221111. So, right now I'm going to talk about final analysis for our research on the influence of location on students' education quality. Okay, first, students' self perception and academic performance. Now, let's dive into the first aspect, the connection between students' self perception and their academic performance. As we discovered, the mean CGPA stands at 2.89, indicating a positive trend. This insight highlight the importance of acknowledging and understanding the impact of self-perception on academic success, transcending geographical boundaries. Moving on to our next point, transportation choices and educational environment. Shifting gears, we explore how transportation choices impact the overall educational environment. To sum up, our research underscores a critical finding regarding transportation choices and their profound influence on the overall educational experience. The data reveals that less effective modes of transportation may negatively impact academic performance while practical modes contribute positively. This emphasizes the importance of considering not just the destination but the journey itself in shaping a student's educational journey. The significant variation across transportation modes highlight the complex relationship between commute methods and academic success. So this brings us to the next crucial aspect, which is socio-economic factors and resource accessibility. Connecting the dots, we examine how socio-economic factors play a role in the availability of educational resources. With positive ratings for resource availability, we see a correlation between higher socio-economic status and positive perceptions. This highlights the complex interplay between financial constraints and educational outcomes, pointing out the need for targeted interventions to bridge these socio-economic gaps and promote equitable access to resources for all students. Now, let us move on to our final insight. community support and educational challenges. Lastly, we delve into the significance of community support and its influence on the overall educational experience. With a predominant neutral community support stance, we identify challenges like the lack of guidance on career paths and internships. This insight emphasizes the broader role communities can play in fostering a supportive educational environment for students.
Conclude our survey. We can conclude that this study effectively investigated how students' location affects the quality of their education. Our hypothesis is supported by the positive alignment mean CGPA of 2.89 between self-perceived study performance and actual academic outcomes. Mean scores corroborated the transportation choices, which indicate notable differences in the learning environment. The mean rating of 44.5% indicates a positive correlation between socioeconomic factors and resource availability. Hence, we can conclude that location does have an influence on students' education quality.
That's all from our group. Thank you. Bye.